Good evening, fellow photographers, and welcome to the second part of the evening tonight. My name is John McCall, and I'm your MC tonight. We've got tonight's outline. We have God, I can't see. God. Yeah, competition critique and results of the natural history prints. But first of all, I'd like to welcome members here, guests and visitors. And we have Sue Wilkins and Steve Curtis here as prospective new members. Welcome here, and we hope to see you some more. Please, a little reminder, wearing name badges, please, because wearing them means that everyone knows who they are. And if you keep them in your glove box of your car, put them on when you come, we'll be fine. Exits, over there. The toilets out there. And of course the other exits is through the corridor outside. And please, cell phones off for everyone. And we can now sort of start this 8 p.m. session. Nicola is going to be the announcer tonight of the competition. She's going to do the critiquing and the results. And I'll leave it over to Nicola to start. You've got everything. Thank you.
Testing, yep. Is that all right? Not too loud or too soft? Too loud. Okay, good. It is a bit loud, thanks. Just Steve Atwood is our judge tonight for the natural history. Steve is a renowned bird photographer who lives out at Little River. He also runs Aldwood as his business, Aldwood Bird Photography, and he does private tours and things like that. So he's been kind enough to do our judging tonight. I've assessed some of his critiquing. I thought he's done a really good job actually for us. And what else can I say? I did have his bio, but I've unfortunately left that somewhere in a really safe place. From memory, I hope you're not listening. From memory, he has done a lot of work with Doc, and one of his goals in life is to photograph as many terns. Evidently, there's 49 variety of terns in New Zealand. No, not 49, something like 14 or something. And then he said that he's so far managed to photograph 5, but a lot of them are offshore. And he says he's only got 9 to go, he reckons, but that could be a real mission and a feat to get that many. But he loves his wildlife, very passionate about the braided rivers and keeping everything pristine and safe, and puts a lot of effort into the natural history. So, without further ado, we'll move on with the critiquing. This is a Weka, score 1, Galerius australis. It's a good use of colours. Unfortunately, this image is grainy and soft, which spoils what is otherwise a well-composed photo, making good use of the golden colour range. The eye is also dull. Waiting for the bird to turn more towards the light would have helped enliven the eye, as would have a slightly lower angle to look up into the bird more. Score 1, Hypoloma species. A very soft image lets this otherwise very well composed image down. The image is also quite grainy. Would have benefited from the use of a tripod and a longer exposure with a slightly smaller aperture. Entoloma hochstetera. Good use of colours, good use of cropping. Photographing such a static image is a considerable challenge, and this photographer has not quite succeeded. As a print, the image is soft and the focus point appears to be on the rear mushroom. A sharper, brighter focus on the front mushroom would have considerably lifted this image. Geothermal sinter terraces covered with microbial mats, Oreki Karako. Without the title, it would be difficult to tell why this photo was submitted as nature rather than landscape. It is a very difficult subject to convey, however. Lifting the saturation a little and perhaps a degree more contrast might have helped lift this rather flat image. A lower angle of shot to bring more detail into the foreground might have also been an option. Australian coot chick, Feluca atra australis. A good use of colours, a good use of light. A well-exposed photo handling the contrasts of the bird, the foreground and the water well, but quite a static photo. If even one leg were lifted or moving forward, it would have added much needed movement to the image. The print has been framed too tightly, which crops off parts of the feet, a fault not present in the screened image. Matata on Harakiki. Also a good use of colours and good use of light. A lovely image that sets this difficult to photograph bird in place, allowing the viewer to enjoy this moment of time. The overall softness of the bird is not particularly problematic, but the softness of the eye and the bill area weakens the overall impact of the photo. While breaking classic photography rules, when well done, can create an original and striking photo. In this case, I think that the bird itself is too centred and the image would have benefited from the plant and the bird emerging from a point further to the left. Black oyster catcher, Torreya pango. A very difficult subject. Two very dark birds and a medium dark foreground against the brightness of the water. The photographer has handled this challenge reasonably well, but there are areas for improvement. The darkness of the birds could have been lightened just a shade or two, as detail is almost completely lost on what should be the main subject. Unfortunately, this also means the very bright orange of the oyster catcher's bills creates too much of the contrast, and I suspect there might have also been some oversaturation here. This is the first of the acceptances, score 3, a bearded vulture's walking. It's a good use of colours, a good use of light. Sharpness in critical areas adds to impact, weak composition. A good solid shot, but lacks the action or context to tell a good story. Lighting, sharpness, colour and depth of field are good. However, I felt the image just a little too crowded. It could have done with being cropped slightly wider. Hippopotamus, amphibious Uganda. Conveys a good story. It displays peak of action. It's got a good use of colours, a good use of cropping. It's a good use of light, and there is sharpness in critical areas which adds to the impact. And it's got a strong composition. A beautifully exposed image, just the right shutter speed to capture the motion of the splashing water, adding some action to what might otherwise have appeared as a static image. Detail on the nostrils and the light around the eye adds to the strength of this photo. Bird's nest fungi, Nidula niveotomentosa. Conveys a good story. It's got a good use of colours, good use of cropping, a good use of light. Sharpness in critical areas adds to impact the strong composition. A very solid example of forest floor fungi photography. Detail is excellent and the muted lighting well treated. The red admiral butterfly, Kahukura Vanessa gonorilla. The good use of colours, cropping, the good use of light, and the sharpness in critical areas adds to the impact, and it's got a strong composition. It's a very solid photo. It's nicely composed and well exposed. The depth of field is well chosen for the image. The fact that the flowers behind the wing are also in focus could not be avoided, but does tend to slightly confuse the image of the butterfly in that area. Hypholoma species conveys a good story, good use of colours, good use of cropping, good use of light. Sharpness in critical areas adds to the impact, and it has a strong composition. The photographer has made maximum use of the location of this fungus, making the mushroom stand out from their background and producing an almost three-dimensional effect as the eye seems to travel into and through the forest stems. He stitched bird. Good story, displays peak of action, good use of colours, good use of cropping, good use of light. Sharpness is critical areas, adds to the impact, and it has a strong composition. A good solid image with the open, singing bill, bringing some action to the story it tells. Calapatophonchus banksky, red-tailed black cockatoo. Good use of colours, good use of cropping, good use of light. Sharpness in critical areas adds to impact, and it's got a strong composition. A lovely tight crop on this bird with nice light in the eye, bringing the subject to life. The detail is excellent. A slightly less tight crop to show all of the crest feathers would have been preferable, and a slightly improved handling on the light of the bill, which is blown out to a degree, would have lifted the score of this image. Eurasian eagle, owl. Good use of colours, good use of cropping, good use of light, instills an emotional reaction. It's got sharpness in critical areas, which adds to impact, and it has a strong composition. A strong photo, coming close to high acceptance. The framing of this bird with the branches adds to its character and a sense of place. The light captured in the eye draws the viewer in and helps make an otherwise static image more real. A little too centred, I might have moved the owl slightly to the right so it was looking into the scene a tad more. Allowing just a little more headroom might have provided a better opportunity to have the eyes on a thirds line to make it slightly more pleasing composition-wise. African data, Anhinga rufa at Chobe River, Botswana. Good use of colours, good use of cropping, and good use of light. A highlight of this image is the beautiful capture of the sheen on the right wing feathers. With the sharpness here, a crucial element of the success of this photo, the displaced feathers in this area add a sense of movement in what is otherwise a static image. Exposure of such a dark bird against a bright background is handled very well. The New Zealand tui, high acceptance, conveys a good story, displays a peak action, good use of colours, good use of cropping, good use of light. Sharpness in critical areas adds to impact, and it's got a strong composition. A different angle and the solid use of lighting make this a very good photo. My only concern is that the image is a little too centred and could have done to have been less tightly cropped. Orchid mantis, Hymenopus, something, I missed it, conveys a good story, good use of colours, good use of cropping, good use of light, instills an emotional reaction, and it has a strong composition. A very good image where the subject is beautifully framed and well defined by the contrasting background. It's close to honours, but for a very slight softness. New Zealand fur seal pup, sucking. Good story, good use of colours, good cropping, use of light. It instills an emotional reaction, and it's got sharpness and critical areas to add impact, and it also has a strong composition. A very strong image with a great emotional hook. The subtle range of pastel colours has been handled very well, with just the right amount of light on the fur of the pup to make it the primary focus of this domestic scene. A crane fly caught in a web. This conveys a good story, good colours, good light, has emotional reaction, has sharpness, and has a strong composition. A subject many photographers might pass by without noticing. It tells an excellent story. The sharpness, the light, and background are critical to this image's success, and all have been handled very well. Has not printed as well as one might like, as the darkness of the insect body reduces the impact. In this green image, the light is perfect, and as a projected image, this would score more highly. Score 5, which is honours. Conveys a good story, good use of colours, good use of cropping, good use of light, emotional reaction, sharpness, and strong composition. It's an absolute classic. Composition, lighting, background, and colour are all excellent. The pink flowers might have distracted if they had been in focus, but their soft treatment leads the viewer onto the subject, where the eye ring compels close attention, which is rewarded by this photo's sharpness and detail. Nestor notabilis, good story, peak of action, good use of colours, good cropping, good use of light, instills an emotional reaction, original treatment of the subject, sharpness in critical areas to adds impact, and also has a strong composition. It ticks across the board for this impressive photo, which amuses at the same time as the viewer is offered detail of a bird they might otherwise never get to see or appreciate. A unique angle, well handled. Kotaku portrait conveys a good story, good use of colours, good use of cropping, good use of light, instills an emotional reaction, sharpness in critical areas adds to impact, and has a strong composition. An outstanding image. The exposure across the white feathers is perfectly handled. The cropping and composition compel the viewer to focus in on the eye, drawing attention to the vivid contrast of the blue-green facial skin. Caterpillar of Pachliopta aristolocae. Good attempt. Conveys a good story, good use of colours, good use of cropping, good use of light, original treatment of the subject. Sharpness in critical areas adds to impact, and it has a strong composition. An exceptional photo, drawing the viewer's eye into the subject. Depth of field is very well managed. Score 6 in Best in Show. Conveys a good story, good use of colours, good use of cropping, light, instills an emotional reaction, sharpness in critical areas adds to impact, and has a strong composition. The composition, angle, depth of field, and use of light are what make this image so successful. A very good example of a fungi forest floor photography, where all the elements have come together to make an exceptional picture. The viewer almost feels as if they are sitting at the base of this mound of mosses, looking up into the stand of forest giants. Got the opportunity to talk to Steve about this image as I was picking up the prints the other day, and he actually added to it. He said he could just imagine living in that little forest, and and he said it really created that emotional impact for him, which is why he selected this as honours. But he said it was really hard to select from between the honours and the high acceptances, and also expressed what a extremely high calibre of nature photography of our club. So well done to the winner. That's all, folks. Without further ado, we will move on to presenting the awards. So if I just ask Diana if she's available, and we'll turn on some lights. All right, I might have a few in the wrong order for the first few, but we'll make a start. Thanks, Alan. I do, hang on, I've got that in the wrong order. He is I know what he is. Oh, yep, that one. Oh, yep, Anne's not here, is she? Okay, so that's an acceptance. Pardon?
She's gone to Sri Lanka.
Oh, everybody away? Okay, so that's acceptance. Yep, okay, next. Barry, I don't think Barry's here. Oh, yes, yay.
I'm here tonight.
Yay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I get to do the next one. This is Diana's. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, there might be more. Oh, right. Nearly. And afterward, you're going to make me say it, aren't you? Hyphaloma species? Hyphaloma. I can reprint it if you want me to. That's me.
Congratulations, I'm looking around for you.
Oh, yep, this is Toby. Well done, Toby.
Congratulations, Toby. Can you see the name of the bird? Nice sparkles. Anyway, really good.
Yeah, that's your test. Oh, that's Anne, the Eurasian eagle. This is Barry for the African dancer. That's gorgeous. Hey.
New Zealand too.
Orchid Bantus, JK's also travelling. Janine is not here, the seal pup. Yep, Adrian, crane fly.
Congratulations.
That's lovely. Jan Vogue, is she here with the silver eye? I don't think she's got a silver eye. Nesta Notabilis, Jane. I was with her when she took that. Kotoku Portrait, Dawn. Just as a side comment, Steve particularly loved your image. Yep. JK, the caterpillar, that thing. And Best in Show, she's not here tonight, but that's Janine Money. And I'll hand you back for John. I think we've got a fairly early night tonight without, which is pretty, Okay, cool. Oh yeah, we can talk about good idea. We'll just have a talk about the honours and the high ones and see if any of those people are here, Ellen, and see if people would like to speak about them.
So just went to Whataroa to see them in their breeding colony, and the track was all flooded, so everybody was going in on the back of the four-wheeler, but I had gumboots, so I walked ahead and I opened up the hide, and he was just sitting right in front, so.
It was a bit windy that day. But it was doing some preening and scraping its head along the fence and things. Was it raining? A bit drizzly, yeah. So it was just, I decided I quite liked that view of it.
Shows the colours off.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
just walking down the street one day and spotted it. I was probably heading for a Tuesday walk, I think. So it was pretty early in the morning.
I meant to photograph. Yeah, that's me. That was over at that island, Tiri, Maitangi. And I think that's where that one was. Yep, and that was up at I'm pretty sure that was up at the feeding station up at the top, and they were all just scrapping and fighting about. And I have taken on board his comments, and I think I will try and see if I can recrop that and make it a bit wider and put it off centre a little bit and see how much of a difference that makes. Is that it? Okay. Okay, that's it. I'll pass you back to John. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicola. Well done.
Reminder, if you would like, please take your prints home tonight if you're here, please.
Now, we have some important dates for the future. God heavens. Um, 6th of August, or tonight, is the last night for the projected image, number 6, for hand-ins. 6th of August, PI, projected image, number 7. And the 27th of August, C-grade print and projected image, number 2. So those are the most important dates. Have a look at Diana's weekly newsletter, full of interest. So you can get any other dates from them as well, the PSNZ stuff as well. In closing, thanks for the opening and closing to John Thornton. Meet and greet John Thornton again, was it? No? Who did the meet and greet? No? It's Mr. Who. Sound, Gordon and Alan. And projection, Alistair and Tim. And thank you, Nicola, for your contribution. And supper coordinator, Judy and Neroli. And we invite you to next week's program. And it's a good night, safe trip home. That's it. Thank you. Sorry? Yeah, yes. Jane, thank you very much. Most interesting. Jane is just full of innovations, and you never know what's going to come next. It's all very interesting, very colourful, and yeah, she does a lot of this, so watch the space. Thank you.